like to call to order tonight's regular Board of Education meeting for Wednesday, December 18th, 2024 here in the MAPS Central Administration Building Boardroom. Do we have a roll call, please?
Brett Muller, Nubs Ashbeck,
Here.
Amber DeRizzo, here. Jacqueline Gremler, here. Mike Hornisher,
Here.
Ron Liberty,
Here.
Paul Crew,
Here.
John Smith,
Here.
Kevin Blake.
Here. You join me, stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening and welcome to the Merrill Area Public Schools Board of Education meeting. It reflects the role that our elected board members serve and the function of our board meetings. Board members and administrators are committed to working collaboratively to provide our students with the highest levels of achievement. This meeting is a formal event and professional conduct is the expectation for all in attendance. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Murray. Next on our agenda is public comments to the board. If anyone have public comments, normally they turn in a pink sheet to Tammy, Shannon, or myself. Seeing none, I'm going to start with board recognition. Thankfully, a number of people have assisted Mr. Murray and Tammy and myself on helping to recognize a lot of good things happening in the district and some other things that we're celebrating as well. So we'd like to start off by the board recognizing the school resource officer, Jamie Yeager, for years of service and unwavering commitment and compassion for our students, staff, everyone involved here at the district. We want to express our most heartfelt gratitude to Officer Yeager for incredible dedication service to our community for 29.5 years. Officer Yeager has been a vital part of ensuring safety and building strong relationships, specifically within our schools these last several years. So congratulations and best wishes in our next chapter.
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
I wanted to work with her.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
Atta girl.
Thank you. Next, the board this evening would like to recognize Cassandra, or Cassie Roleski, who has been absolutely invaluable to the PRMS team and to student success. During Megan Spoon's maternity leave, she held down the 6th grade ELA department. Cassie thoughtfully prepared, supported Megan's various substitute teachers, as well as created and organized an engaging activity upon Megan's return. On top of that, she took the time to thoroughly clean Megan's classroom so Megan wouldn't come back to a cluttered or disorganized space. Her unwavering kindness, dedication to student success, and willingness to go above and beyond to support her colleagues and students is nothing short of extraordinary. Thank you and congratulations to Cassandra.
We need our rooms cleaned.
I did
We
it wrong.
weren't going to mention that.
Good job.
Make sure you tell your basketball player I've got my glasses.
Oh, he read for us last night. He could have used them yesterday.
On that note, I'd like to move on to recognizing members of our 8th grade team. Aisley Bennell, Jolene Honig, Mike Rint, Todd Kautzer, Marcy Hansen, Lisa Jarvincevu, and Danielle Block. A big shout out to the 8th grade team for organizing a fantastic Blue Jay Huddle assembly. Their hard work in contacting coaches, planning, and organizing truly paid off. This event was seamless and everyone had a great time. Thank you for going above and beyond to create such a fun and memorable experience.
We thought we'd do some of you today, so if everybody could please stand. I have a partner. I'm joking.
Oh, sure you
We're
are.
not doing that.
No, she's gonna perform alone.
Oh, I'm shy.
Yeah, the introvert Danielle is. Where are we hiding Mr. Kautzner? Hanson.
I'll just wait.
Well, you know, the one that talks the most is recognized.
You want me to sit down?
Well, you know, we've changed our mind. There's been a revote.
My mom wanted this for my baby book.
Page 3, 2024. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, congratulations again for everyone recognized by the board this evening. Much appreciated for all your efforts for the district.
Merry Christmas, everyone. I appreciate it.
Take care, Jamie. Hey, Jamie, you're not eligible to come to coffee the second Tuesday of the month. You wanna retire?
Hey, that sounds good.
Come on up.
Sounds good.
It's been nice working with you.
Oh my God, contact me.
All right. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to our Student Board of Education representatives for their reports. Max Black and Parker Wagner are here, so take it over.
Yeah. Last Saturday, the high school had their winter formal dance, Peppermint. So like prom, there was a grand march beforehand where couples can be seen and cheered on by friends and family. This is also when the Peppermint Princes are announced and begin the competition for Peppermint King. So this year's senior princes were Jax Hansen, Caden Henrik, Callum Wheeler, and Carson Brooks. Each boy performed a talent, answered a trivia question, and then told a joke before the audience could vote. And the winner this year was Callum Wheeler. Last night, the boys basketball team had a very exciting game against Shawano. The Blue Jays pulled ahead with 3 seconds to go with a game-winning shot by E.J. White, leading to a final score of 54-53. And then last Thursday, Merrill Boys Wrestling had a dual meet, which they won. Remington Skick is still undefeated and won the Kimberly tournament, which happened a little bit ago. And then Addison Clark also won the Kimberly tournament, going 3-0. And Kaylin Allen also had a good performance, going 3-2. And tomorrow, DECA is going to travel to the surrounding schools around town. The last few of their meetings have involved packing hats and gloves into bags to donate to kids in need. The project is called Warm Hearts, Warm Hands, and has supplied hundreds of kids with protection against the cold.
Tomorrow is our Christmas assembly, which is going to be very similar to the Halloween assembly, with challenges and games. After that, the winner of the grades competition will be determined, and I'm fairly certain that juniors are still in the lead. Am I right, Max?
Yeah.
And I say having first pick at Winterfest activities is a pretty good incentive. For the past week and a half, DECA has been holding a food drive that will be donated to the local food pantry. This was another opportunity for the grades to compete and earn points. Last Monday was the band's winter concert, and this Monday was the choirs. All the groups involved sounded beautiful, and now they will be prepping their solos and chamber pieces that are going to be judged in a few months. Last Monday and Tuesday, both the Merrill Theater Jays and the Razor Voice Officers had the opportunity to see the musical Dear Evan Hansen at the Grand Theater in Wausau. It was a beautiful production that caused lots of tears, but every single person that went loved it and would recommend it to everyone.
Thank you, Max. Parker, any board members have any questions or clarifying statements for Max or Parker? We're gonna let Parker get the last word in on Max again, and well, I guess it's irrefutable.
I don't think there's anything I can do.
At this point, you're just not getting the support, Max. Keep trying to lobby the class, but you know, who goes through the end of the year, only so much time you'll have to take that on.
Yeah, stick it out.
There you go, appreciate it. All right, thank you both for your reports. Next, we have administrative reports. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Murray to help go through those for us.
Thank you. The first item, item A, is the Pine River School for Young Learners report. Ryan McKinovich is here this evening. His report includes enrollment information, some documents from the Office of Head Start, etc. Are there any questions regarding the Head Start report? The food service report is item B. That is a monthly report on our board agenda. Includes participation information and some board bites from Laura Rousey, who is not here, but if you have questions, I can forward those on to her. Item C is the Director of Pupil Services Special Ed report. Talks about indicator 8 was the family engagement survey results. We spent some time talking about that and going over that at CTP last week. Amber Haluska is here this evening if anybody has any questions or comments on that. There's some pretty impressive growth scores there, so thank you for that. Item D is the Director of Curriculum and Instruction report. Amanda Patterson is not here this evening. Her report includes information on the school report card. That also was discussed at length at CTP last week. If there are any questions or comments, I may be able to answer those. I can forward those on to her as well. Item E is the Director of Finance report. 2025-26 budget sessions were shared at HR Finance last week. There's some information on some budget updates, including revenue and expenditures and various department updates. Mark Powell is here this evening if anybody has any questions for Mark. Item F is the Director of Human Resources report. Heather Soberg is here with information on 90-day check-ins, as well as some information regarding floating substitutes, which is a practice we've had in our district for a number of years now. Some information on FMLA, et cetera. And so Heather is here if you have questions for Heather. Item G is the Director of Buildings and Grounds Transportation update, including some information on Jefferson School, winter maintenance projects, transportation, et cetera. Nick is here this evening if you have questions for Nick. And then item H is the superintendent's report. Some points of discussion on that report. Tomorrow Kevin and I we close at 9 o'clock with Highland Church regarding the sale of Jefferson School. And so we'll be closing that chapter regarding Jefferson Elementary tomorrow morning. I've included some information on our 100-day plans. We're starting the second 100-day plan now that was developed in early November. And then Mark and I and Nick and Amber and others have been working on bus proposals. We have 4 bus vendors that will be coming in after the break to present to us and answer questions. We've gone through the financing side of it with each one, and they're all pretty close, kind of in the ballpark, I would say. So that was good. So now we're going to start interviewing each of those companies. And then there's some information on the strategic planning process. If you can get back to Kevin if you're interested and available to be part of that process. The first shift is January 3rd, which is a Friday all day, and January 4th, the morning of January 4th from 8 to 12. Joe Schroeder will be coming up. He's going to be an outstanding facilitator, and that will help set our plan for the next 3 to 5 years. So if you are available, interested, willing to serve in that capacity, please let Kevin know. And that's all I've got on my report. If there's any questions. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Shannon. Next on our agenda is committee reports. We'll start with the Finance Human Resources Committee. The draft minutes were provided to the board members from the December 11th committee meeting. John Smith as chair and other members of the Finance Human Resources Committee are available for board member questions. Do we have any questions for the Finance HR Committee? Any questions for Finance Human Resources Committee? We will move on at this time then to the CTP, or Curriculum Technology Pupil Services Committee. Draft minutes from the December 11th committee meeting were provided to the board members, and Ron Liberty as chair and other members of the CTP committee are available this evening for board member questions. Any board members have questions for our CTP committee? Any questions for CTP committee? Hearing none, we'll move on the agenda to unfinished business. We have nothing categorized as unfinished business, so we will start tonight's Board of Education business. The first item there is the WASB resolutions or delegate assembly. Attached was a link for proposed resolutions from WASB for the 2025 delegate assembly, which is at the state convention in Milwaukee. I am our board delegate for the 2025 delegate assembly. If you had time to go through any of the proposed resolutions, if you'd like to say anything right now, otherwise we do have some time to get that information collectively shared as a district for guidance on how to vote at that time. Anyone have anything they want to add in that process this evening, or any questions on what happens at the delegate assembly? That is at the State Education Convention, that's second to last week in January, so a week after our January board meeting. The proposed draft resolutions for the delegate assembly, I believe we're due in the middle of September to be considered. John?
I take it, as a representative, you cast the vote on behalf of the district, and all districts are represented in some sort of electoral process.
Yes, so we're in an assembly auditorium-like room. Members of each region are on the front. They do have a parliamentarian from Boardman Clark, Doug Whitty, is there for any questions that are going on. Everyone signs in with their credentials and a ribbon on their badge that says delegate. They verify your ID, and you're sitting there. You could have a placard for a yes/no vote, or they also have electronic if they think it is going to be a tight margin one way or the other. So there is a motion, then discussion, and then they'll bring it to a vote.
And these resolutions just become a priority of the organization to pressure legislation into changing some existing law or creating a new one?
Correct. So you're putting together the stance for the Wisconsin Association of School Boards, or WASB, to give them direction how to do their lobbying or direct their works going forward. The resolution handbook, the resolution handbook in a guidance manner.
Thank you.
Other questions or discussion?
I have another question.
Go ahead, Jack.
Just because there are a couple of resolutions, like 25-04 and 05, that include things that are different for public versus private. I'm curious, attending I don't know the extent of it, like, are private school boards also present? Or is it strictly only public schools that are on WASB?
You know the
Because
answer to
they're
that,
just kind of
Shannon?
just-
Tammy, I know all public schools are invited.
It is only a,
I think.
yeah, I would think so too, but I wasn't sure. And those two topics kind of fall into those two different things. I didn't know if there was conversation or inclusion of voting for those sectors as well, since it impacts them, but I'm also not very well versed in like budgets. That's not my area, so those two I would want to know more about before I would give you any of my thoughts about it.
I think maybe to John's point and Kevin's comments, that WASB represents public school boards, and these resolutions probably best inform the lobbying efforts, which is what comes out of this.
And that's a reminder in the beginning as we enter the room, not every district is represented. Last year it was 200 out of the 400 and some. Is the reminder that we're not changing law. We're guiding WASB as to what direction the majority of the school districts that are in attendance feel is best for the Wisconsin public school system. Go ahead.
Yes, is the 2502 something similar for what we just discussed as far as altering? I think we talked about it in CTP, like amending like job descriptions so that we can include, like expand the pool. Is that something that is like, were we just sort of ahead of that?
So the key there is the underlined or in that first paragraph. So there are currently in Wisconsin alternative pathways that lead teaching candidates to get a teaching license in content areas based on a combination of things. The minimum requirement currently is a bachelor's degree. And so they're now adding that or to change the minimum requirement of a bachelor's degree to rely more on I would say field-based experiences and knowledge and qualifications. So there are different pathways that people can currently take to get a license, but this just makes it a little bit easier and harder to build things. The common ones would be things like tech ed, those kind of things.
That makes sense. Is there any other clarifying questions? And if you ever had the opportunity to be there, you will see a lot of wordsmithing, making sure things are altered if things have changed over time, adding something like an or. They try to do their best to keep it flexible for the majority of districts instead of just making it focused on the district that is proposing the change or a new resolution. So really good discussion, and we vote, and sometimes that takes an hour and a half, sometimes that takes 6-7 hours, depends on everyone's mood and how the topics go in regards to that packet of papers. So by all means, re-review them. Any questions on the topic or thoughts on discussion points, let me know. So we have a little over a month for time to review that. So, not seeing any other hands up, we'll move along to our next item, B, which is 2025-2026 school calendar discussion and possible approval. Topic summary sheets was provided by Heather Soberg, and there is a recommended motion from both the CTP and Finance Human Resources Committee. Anyone willing to make a motion on this agenda item? Paul?
I move to approve the 25-26 school calendar.
Second. Motion by Paul, a second by Ron. Do we have any discussion or questions on this topic or motion? Any discussion or questions on this topic or motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda this evening is the approval of the MAPS 4K contract for 2025-2026. Topic summary sheet was provided by Ryan Martinovich, and a recommended motion was provided from our CTP committee. Anyone willing to make a motion on this agenda item? Nubs?
I move to approve the MAPS 4K contract for 2025-2026.
Motion by Nubs. Do we have a second? Second by Amber. Any discussion or questions on this motion or topic? Any discussion or questions on this motion or topic? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the Pine River School for Young Learners, or PRISL School Readiness Goals 2024-2025. Attached was a topic summary sheet from Ryan Martinovich with the recommended motion. Anyone willing to make a motion on this agenda item? Ron?
Motion to approve the 2024 and 2025 Bristol School Readiness Goals.
Motion by Ron, do we have a second? Second by Jacqueline. Any discussion or questions on this motion or topic? Any discussion or questions in regards to this motion or topic? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the enrollment cap for charter schools. Topic summary sheet was provided by John Hagemeister. We have a recommended motion from our CTP committee. Anyone willing to make a motion on this agenda item? Paul?
I move to approve, this is the governance board, right?
Yes.
A motion to approve the BVA governance board enrollment limit recommendation for the 2026 school year.
Motion by Paul, do we have a second? Second by Mike. Any discussion or questions in regard to this agenda item or this motion? Any discussion or questions in regard to the motion or agenda item? Hearing none, all those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the approval of the Merrill High School course description book for 2025-2026. Topic summary sheet was created by Tricia Dieter, and CTP committee has a recommended motion. Anyone willing to make a motion on that agenda item this evening? Ron?
Motion to approve the MHS course description book for 2025-2026 as presented.
Motion by Ron, do we have a second? Second by Paul. Any discussion on this agenda item, motion, or topic this evening? Any questions on the motion or this agenda item? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the approval of a tractor purchase for the maintenance department. Attached is a topic summary sheet from Nick Kozalik. A recommended motion from our Finance Human Resources Committee. Anyone willing to make a motion? Nubs?
I move to approve the purchase of the Massey Ferguson tractor.
Motion by Nubs. Do we have a second? Second by Mike. We had a friendly amendment, states from 146 on there, just for clarification. Would that be all right and accurate? To add the words from 146 as a friendly amendment? Is that all right, Nubs and Mike? Any discussion on this motion or agenda item? Clarifying questions? All right, so all those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the update on the transportation contract proposals. I'm going to turn that over to Shannon, and once Mark's assistance, by all means.
Just touch on this briefly in my superintendent's report, but we have a committee that has met a couple of times. There's people from transportation, Amber, Heather, Mark, myself, a community member. We received, sent out bid requests for proposals to 8 companies-ish? 5. 5, okay. Got 4 back, and so went through the financials. We're going to be meeting with and interviewing Lamers, Covison, First Student, and Right Way right after the Christmas break. And so we have 4 companies that are very interested in working with us. So we'll hopefully be bringing a proposal to the board for consideration in January.
Just a quick question, how long contracts are they looking for?
It varies, but because it's a pretty substantial capital investment on their end to buy 30 buses and a bus building and those kind of things, I would expect it to be in the 5 to 7 year range.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Paul, go ahead.
Are the current buses something they could buy?
Yeah, I believe they're interested in purchasing one or and Dave's interested in selling.
Well, take it. So are they within a 100-mile radius of Merrill, the companies, or are they further away?
Yeah, so Right Way's been working their way north. They have recently added Chippewa Falls, Wapaka, Marinette.
Yeah, I think
Copeson, the closest to Copeson that operates is Marshfield currently. It seems like they're all of them are from the southern part of the state.
Yeah, their corporate headquarters, Right Way's in Germantown, Cobeson's in the Fox Valley, Lammers is, they got a station down here, and First Student as well. So they have depots in different areas, but those are where the corporate headquarters are. Actually, corporate headquarters for First Student is in Ohio, but because they're huge nationally. So
we've developed a list of feels like 15-ish questions. So each of the vendors can do a presentation, and we've got these questions, everything from 10,000-foot overview kind of questions to kind of nitty-gritty details. Carla and Tracy and those guys have kind of developed a little bit of like what ifs scenarios that they encounter regularly, and so I think we've got a pretty good process going.
And part of that is because of where dispatch will be tied to their services now versus in-house, correct?
Yes, we'll be doing no dispatching next year.
So that will be why a lot of those questions are, how will you handle this, and how have you handled this in other districts?
a lot of process questions.
Yep. We're also, for what it's worth, Nick's also worked with the county on reestablishing hazard areas, places with no sidewalks where you get across railroad tracks and bridges and those kind of things that bus exempt or bus eligible, even if they're in certain areas. So we're redefining some of those things.
Roads that you don't go in and pick up on?
Yes, those two.
When in doubt, they can call Paul for some guidance.
I was on this problem.
I think it's all too.
All right, I think that covers that, unless anyone has any questions. That's informational only, but any board members have any clarifying questions? Mike?
Does Dave do anything special for any of the students that aren't covered by the contract, like pick up?
Yeah, plenty.
That's why I'm just curious how that would play in with us too.
Yeah, so that'd be one of the challenges that we have in our transition is that we have developed a lot of kind of bad habits on busing over the years. People have been able to take advantage of services that are not going to be available anymore. And so those are some things that we're going to have to be, once defined, we're going to have to really be careful on how those are communicated out. So we have, for example, we have kind of a history of picking up just about any kid in town on our way to the next place. And that is outside of any bus company's model and statute for that matter. So we're going to have to be very careful on how we communicate those out. Now we can continue to do those things, but there's costs. So.
Additional clarifying questions or discussion? All right. Thank you, Shannon, Mark, Nick. Look forward to recommendation from that group as early as next month. Next on our agenda is the revised organizational chart for 2024-2025. Just had some clarifying things put on there and shared here with the board. There was also recommended motion from our Finance Human Resources Committee. Anyone willing to make that motion, or I'll motion? Paul?
I recommend approval of the revised 2024-2025 organizational chart as presented.
I'll second.
Motion by Paul, second by Ron. Any discussion or questions in regards to the motion or agenda item? Any questions or discussion on the motion or agenda item? Motion is for the approval of the revised 2024-2025 organizational chart is moved by Paul, second by Ron. All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the Merrill Lions Club donation to the MAPS Nest programs. The donation forms and cover memos were provided by Tricia Kubicek. Due to the fact that the donation is over the $2,500 limit set in policy 7230, the donation comes to the board separately for approval. There is a recommended motion. Anyone willing to make a motion on this agenda item? Paul?
Move to approve the donation of funds from the Merrill Lions Club valued at $4,000 for helping to support the Cape Goodrich, Washington, PRMS, and Merrill High School Nest programs.
Motion by Paul. Do we have a second? Second by Amber. Any questions or discussions in regard to this agenda item or that motion? Any questions or discussion on this agenda item or motion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item is technical corrections made to policies 5610, 7310, and 9140 per our bylaw 0131.3. The superintendent is authorized to review and make technical corrections to policies that have already been adopted through normal procedures. The superintendent shall inform the board of any such changes at the next regular board meeting. So a number of these were brought up at last board meeting and are being clarified at this time. We are working on kind of a running list of things for consistency's sake that we have done over the years and trying to have that ready for our policy committee as well. I think that'll be useful going forward, so it's caught at that time. But if not, this is our tool to get those technical corrections made. So that is informational only. Did anyone have any clarifying questions or discussion on that? That makes sense. All right. Thank you for that information. Before I ask for the motion on the consent agenda, I'll ask if anyone would like anything pulled from the consent agenda to be handled individually. Anyone want anything pulled from the consent agenda? Otherwise, I would ask for a motion on the consent agenda. Ron?
Motion to approve consent agenda items A through D, which include minutes of the November 2024 meeting, claims, vouchers, and receipts totaling $3,197,261.01, donations totaling $3,425, and the attached personnel report contingent upon release of contract for hiring and upon satisfaction of appropriate liquidated damages for resignations if applicable.
We're going to have to change that word from
You
Ron.
want to change that?
We have a motion by Ron. Do we have, although it is fun, do we have a second? Second by Paul. All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Do we have any abstentions? Paul, are you willing to abstain from the minutes from November 20th?
Is that what it was?
John as well, from the November 20th minutes?
Yes, I'll abstain.
All right. Motion carries with those noted abstentions. Tammy, I just want to clarify before we go on, these technical corrections do not require a vote. That's informational, correct, for the?
Correct.
Yep, that's what I thought, just making sure that I'm following procedure. Items for future meetings. At this time, board members are allowed to share any topics here in open session that they would like to put into committees or through future board meetings. So another method to follow along with that. Any of those items that they don't think have been handled yet or are new to them. So any items for future meetings that board members would like to mention this evening? Any items from board members for future meetings? Otherwise, feel free to contact Shannon or myself for future regular board meetings or any chairs of the committees, make things available on those agendas. Next on our agenda is just a reminder that tomorrow, the radio program, Shannon and I will review tonight's meeting, Blue Jay 730 Radio, and we'll also highlight the future meetings. So if anyone from the public would like to join us at the Facilities Committee meeting on Wednesday, January 8th at 3:30 here in the boardroom, that they could, or CTP, which next meets January 8th, 2025, 4:30 in the boardroom. Immediately followed by the Finance Human Resources Committee, which is Wednesday, the 8th of January, no sooner than 5 p.m. Head Start Policy Council meeting will be on Tuesday, January 14th at 5:30 p.m. at Pine River School for Young Learners, unless Nubs or Ryan tell me different. And the next regular Board of Education meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, January 15th. 2025, 5:30 p.m. here in the boardroom. Next, we have a contemplated motion to adjourn into executive closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes under sections 19.85, paren 1, paren C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. Purpose of the closed session will be to discuss administrators and supervisors' evaluation and to conduct the superintendent's regularly scheduled summative evaluation. Do we have that motion this evening?
So,
motion by Paul. Do we have a second? Second by Mike. Do we have a roll call vote on that, please, Tammy?
Nubs Ashbeck.
Aye.
Amber DeRizzo.
Aye.
Jacqueline Grumler.
Aye.
Mike Cornishore.
aye.
Ron Liberty.
Aye.
Paul Crew.
Aye.
John Smith.
Aye.
Kevin Blake.
Aye. All right. This time, thank you all for your attendance. We will secure and make the room private and reconvene momentarily.